Goals have always been something very interesting to me, because you hear all these theories from different people. Some say you should set goals for everything in your life. And some people say, oh, don't set any goals, just go with the flow. So I've always battled with these two concepts. But one of the things that I've learned recently is that goals can be applied to a variety of different things. So it could be your dream, it could be your vision. But a goal, in essence, is a direction. So for those of you here now, could you raise your hand if you have at least one goal in your life? And could you keep it raised if you have 5 goals? Keep it raised if you have 10? 15? Okay. Now, what are the chances that you're going to achieve all 15 goals in the year? Probably not that high. But if you slice the list and just focused on the maybe 2 or 3 most important goals, maybe that will give you the most happiness and fulfillment from pursuing that direction, and you know where you're going. So most people in life, I like to compare to a ship. So imagine that we're in the sea, and all of us have our own ship. And some of us have big ships, some of us have tiny ships, but we all have our own ship. And for most people, they just spin around, not really knowing where they're going, and they just go with the tide. Are you still drifting with the tide, or do you actually know where you're going? Because for most of us, we just drift through life. We don't have any direction. Something pops up. Oh, that's an opportunity. I'll pursue that. When in fact, it could be in the complete opposite direction as to where you want to go. But most of us can't see that far. Imagine if you were traveling in the darkness at night. Imagine how hard that would be. But that's how most of us are traveling. Now imagine instead if you had a lighthouse on your ship pointing you in the right direction. It wouldn't matter if you got off course, because you still know where to go. But most of us have never thought about this, so we never set these sorts of targets. So having a direction for your life and knowing where to go is important. However, for some of us, we set goal after goal after goal after goal. Now there's a problem with that as well. Because if you're just setting continuous goals and goals and goals and goals and goals, if they're not the correct goals, you could stress yourself out. So there are many people that say, oh no, I've got to do this, and I've got 15 goals to do, and I have to have my health like this, and this like that, and this like this. And we stress ourselves out. But there are many different types of goals to have. We have personal goals, self-development goals, business goals. But really, what we want to be focusing on in goals is looking into how to measure them. Because measuring them is the most important thing. Because anyone can set a goal and say they achieved it. But if you measure it consistently to what's right for you. So let's take a really simple example. Let's say we're going to the gym. And you want to say, okay, I'm going to lift this amount of weight by this point. So you work through everything and it's going really well. You get to the final day and you kind of do it like half-heartedly. You're like, yeah, I did it. But you didn't really achieve your goal. Most of us are trying to do these short bursts of goals. And throughout my life, I've realized that that's incredibly unsustainable. If we're saying, oh, my goal for this month is to do this, and you try really, really hard, and you do this, and you finally get there, and you think, okay, now what? You think, I'll set another goal. So you set another one, and you do the same thing again, and you push through, and you get stressed, but you do it, and you get your goal. And what happens if you don't get your goal? You feel like a failure. And then if you do get your goal, and you get even higher, you think, oh, did I set my goal too low? And sometimes we get confused with this. Some people are like, oh, you set a massive goal. Some people are like, well, if I set a massive goal, what happens if I don't achieve it? So imagine if you could just cancel out all that stress. And I wanted to compare it to a Chinese bamboo tree. Does anyone know how long it takes a Chinese bamboo tree before it starts to grow? Before it starts to grow up. Fast. Yeah? 5 years. So it takes bamboo trees 5 years before it starts to go up. And most of us don't think about this as goals. We just think, oh, I'm going to set this and do that, and we have these short little bursts. Right. If we were all bamboo trees, we would all die straight away because we wouldn't have that foundation laid. We'd be trying to do stuff too soon. What I want to push to you today is you need to look into goals, but system goals. What I meant by this is something that you can measure and it's something that you know is correct. So for example, I'm going to go to the gym 4 times a week. Because that you can do, right? If I say, okay, I'm going to lift this amount by this date and this and this and this. That's great to have in these mechanical goals, but let's say you have a goal for your business and you say, I want to have this many sales. You have no idea what's going to happen. And you're going to get yourself stressed and worried about it instead of every single day say, I'm going to do 4 hours of sales every day and I'm going to reach as many people as I can. And that is a very less stressful way to do it. Because if we're stressed, it shuts off parts of our brain. So by using these systems, you're creating a really powerful foundation from which to build. And when you start using that as a foundation, you grow very quickly. Does anyone know how long it takes the Chinese bamboo tree to get to 90 feet? Have a guess. So it's taken 5 years of foundation and then get to 90 feet up. 10 years? Any others? 3 months? Half a year? Okay. It takes it 5 weeks. So imagine this is 5 foot. Yeah?
You're not that short.
No, but that's why I didn't go like this. So what I'm trying to push to you guys today is it's all good and well setting these goals and we're going to set these, these big things like that. But have this goal for a vision for yourself of what you want to do. And then create the right system to move you in that direction. Because then you're not going to go through these little bursts and stress. And you're going to be able to move forward in a really nice, sustainable way. For example, if we look at diets, most people say, oh, I did a diet and then it failed. A diet failed because they're trying to do all these things instead of just mastering the simple basics, starting with the roots, and then going forward. So today I want you to leave and be this Chinese bamboo tree. Start with your roots. Don't stress yourself out. And create the systems that will help you move forward in life. Thank you.